Hi, I'm Dr. Brenna Hicks, founder of the Kid Counselor and Play Therapy Parenting. I heard news a couple of weeks back about a Massachusetts preschool who prohibited and banned the use of the term best friend in the preschool. And I remember maybe a year or two ago when some elementary and middle schools had decided that they did not want students to use those terms anymore. But there was an outrage with some of the parents from this preschool, and I got to thinking about who attends a preschool, and we're basically talking 2- and 3-year-olds. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to me that a school would think that a 2- and a 3-year-old should not be able to say that I have a best friend and my best friend's name is Janie. And when interviewed, the school's representatives or personnel, whomever they spoke with, indicated that they felt that it was exclusionary and it made other children feel left out and that it was hurtful if they were not included in the category of someone's best friend. And that has been a very interesting thought process for me because as a play therapist, children have a natural built-in checks and balances system in interacting with their peers. So what that looks like is when children are aggressive, kids purposefully do not play with them. If children are too shy, kids purposefully don't interact with them. If kids are bossy, children distance themselves. If kids are really funny, kids like them and want to be around them. If kids are very helpful and kind, kids are drawn to them. So there's a natural state that kids learn from in the order of friendship. And so that natural process of allowing the kids who are the most well-adjusted and the most well-rounded socially and emotionally, even at 2 and 3, by prohibiting the use of a best friend, it basically stops that natural process and the natural order of the balancing that the social interaction provides. And something that I think is even more significant on a different level is I've talked a lot about self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's interesting that when kids are called something, any term, positive or negative, if a child is told that they're smart, or a child is told that they're funny, or gifted at problem solving, or mean, or unkind, or whatever that term may be, including best friend, they learn to interpret the world based on what they receive from others around them. So if other people are saying, "You're my best friend," they learn that that is an identity and they become what they are told that they are. And that's why labels and diagnoses and terms such as bad kid or troublemaker or problem child, those are pervasively accepted as the child internalizes those messages. But the converse is also true. So if they're told, "You're my best friend," the child lives up to that expectation and lives up to that title that they've been given. I liken this to the everyone gets a trophy policy lately with sports and with schools and with any time kids are together in large groups. There's been a growing trend toward participation trophies. And what I think is the inherent issue in that, in the everyone gets a trophy model and that no one can be called a best friend, is that it prevents kids from operating in their natural understanding of the world. And kids naturally understand good and bad. They naturally understand success and failure. They naturally understand right from wrong. They naturally understand all of those opposites on a spectrum. Kids purposefully try to be the fastest, the quickest, the smartest, the funniest, the most clever, the first, Tell a group of children to go line up and watch what happens. They race to be first in line. Why? Because they understand there's a privilege and there's something important about doing something well. So to be a best friend, that is a positive thing. It means that you have become something to someone that's more important than anyone else in that classroom for a toddler. To win a trophy because you were the tournament champions or because you were the fastest in a race, it says something. It's a contribution that the child provided to that scenario, rather than no one can be called a best friend because it's exclusionary and hurtful, and everyone gets a trophy just because they showed up. So I actually see a lot of parallel in those two news stories. And as a play therapist and as a child advocate and as someone who interacts with kids day in and day out, I think we as parents and educators and anyone who's interacting with kids in a meaningful way, we all need to be aware of the significance of letting kids operate in their natural state. And that is, there is success and there is failure, and you learn from both. And there is an identity that is formed when you're able to accomplish something and have a title given to you that's special, and it's because of something that you offered or contributed. So just wanted to share my thoughts on that. That story came across my news feed, and I had heard it before, like I mentioned, but at 2 and 3, I just really couldn't wrap my brain around a school, probably with good intentions, but telling a 2-year-old child that they can't say they have a best friend. Best friends are the hallmark of childhood. So I hope that we can really process that for what it is, and I hope that we can advocate for children being able to make sense of the world in the way that they naturally do, which is to develop who they are based on the titles that they're given, and also to be proud of what they accomplish based on where they fall in the order of things. So please make sure that you like me on Facebook, subscribe to my iTunes podcast, and make sure that you sign up for my email newsletter so that you're always made aware of the things that I'd like to share with you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.